Hey y'all, just getting home from a fun day on the water. I think I caught about 18 to 20 fish today and got most of them on video, so I thought I'd share those with you and also just talk a little bit about how I caught them. You know, we're in the pre-spawn, it's late February, those fish are feeding up, trying to get fat for the spawn coming up because it takes a lot of energy. And the number one thing that they're going to be eating this time of year, they're going to be eating crawfish. Crawfish start to get real active. And another thing is the bass are still a little lethargic because the water temperature days in the mid 50s. So a bass, they don't want to be chasing right now a bluegill or a shad all over the place. They want an easy meal, and a crawfish provides that. So what I was using, you know, a jig mimics a crawfish perfectly. I started with a jig today, and I kept it in my hand all day. I caught every fish that I caught today on a jig. And this is the V&M, the jig I used is the V&M Pacemaker Adrenaline Flipping Jig. Just a great jig for a lot of reasons. It's got a lot, the paint scheme on the head has just got a lot of detail on it, more than any you'll ever see. Another thing I like about the head on this jig is that it's flat. So when it hits the bottom and you pull it, it puts those pinchers up in a defensive posture like a crawfish about to be attacked. That's another thing I really like about it. The skirt itself, it's got glitter, a whole lot of detail in it. Comes pre-rigged with a rattle on it, you know, to give it some noise. It especially works well in that off-colored water that I was fishing. Sound like a crawfish scurrying around down there on the bottom. Another thing is the band that keeps, this is important to me, the band that keeps the skirt on is made of a real durable material. You know, I've fished some jigs where, you know, a few times throughout the day that you get a bite or catch a fish and it pulls that skirt down, and you're constantly having to push that skirt back up. That never happened once today with this jig, and it never does. Just a, you know, it's a real sturdy material. And the other thing about it is another thing important to me is it's got a real prominent bait keeper on it. See that bait keeper right there? So that once you push that trailer up on there, I don't have a trailer on it now, but once you push that trailer up on there, it stays. You know, again, some jigs, you know, throughout the day you're constantly having to push them up. You don't have to do that with this jig. It's just an outstanding jig. This color is black, brown, and amber. Just a great color for this time of year. Very natural color when you're trying to mimic a crawfish. I really like black, brown, and amber and use it a lot. But just a great jig overall, and I had a blast with it today. Very windy out there, gusting up to 20 miles an hour at times. Had to fight that wind, but in the long run it was worth it, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Thanks for watching. Pretty fish there. Nice color. Ate that jig good. My gear that I'm using today for my rod, first of all, I'm using a Falcon BuCoo Amistad model rod. It's 7.3, heavy action with a fast tip to help you get those bass out of that cover quickly, get them in the boat quick. Very strong rod, very sensitive. You'll see throughout the day. You can see throughout the day. Have no problem flipping 3 and 4 pounders in the boat with this rod. I'll tell you what, for the $100 range, you're not going to find a rod that's better than the Falcon BuCoo. I'm using 17-pound test fluoro. Not fishing around too gnarly of cover, cypress trees. I'm able to get them in fine without breaking 17-pound test. And I'm using a loose speed spool, 7 1-to-1. That higher gear ratio going to help me get them in the boat and out of the cover quicker. Just a great all-around setup. I love it for jig fishing. blast. If that thunk from a jig don't get you excited, nothing will. Hey, just a fun day on the water today. I had a blast out here fishing with the jig. I never had to change because they bit the jig all day. Just remember, if you're out in the pre-spawn, February, March, those bass, they don't want to chase a meal a lot of times. Water temperature today was in the mid 50s. They wanted something that, you know, that was put right in front of them, something moving slow. The jig does that perfectly, imitates a crawfish perfectly. Thanks again for watching, y'all. See you next time.